Hi everyone. As we are winding down 2019 and we are going to usher 2020 with a lot of gusto, we have one lunar eclipse that is coming on, and before I speak about the lunar eclipse which is going to happen on 10th of Jan, I need to tell you all that whenever I speak about the planets and its effects, it is good to note that any planet position or aspect that I mention has to be understood in the broader sense, after which we need to evaluate separately with regard to the planet positions and aspects of your personal horoscope. अभी आप देख लो.
बिल्कुल देखना है.
आप देख लो.
नहीं मैम, आप कर लीजिए पूरा.
कर लो.
हाँ.
Now about this full moon lunar eclipse that is going to happen on 10th of Jan 2020, it's going to be effective in the zodiac sign of Cancer. 11 days into the new year, the moon reaches the heights of the lunar cycle, peaking in Cancer. It will be 2/3 through the zodiac sign at exactly 20 degrees and is the very special first full moon of 2020. It's a Capricorn season with a stellium of planets in the zodiac sign of Capricorn, which is governed by Saturn, including the Saturn himself. Pluto is sitting with Saturn both at 22 degrees. The Sun is accompanied by Mercury, again both at 20 degrees, and Jupiter with the South Node both at 8 degrees. It's a remarkable full moon moment as the horoscope reveals very, very tight aspects. That's because Neptune in Pisces acts as a kind of go-between, aligning with both the midpoint of the moon in Cancer and the North Node, as well as extending his watery wishes towards the heart of the Capricorn stellium. So there is a lot of emotional hangama expected. Now whether it is positive or negative depends upon the individual natal charts. There are no harsh aspects at this full moon, signifying a very soothing start to the year. Now how to work with this full moon? Look for the hot degrees in your own natal chart between 8 degrees and 22 degrees of the cardinal signs, which are Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, or within 14 degrees to 16 degrees of the mutable signs, which are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius and Pisces. If you have your personal planets, the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus or Mars, or your chart angles which are the ascendant, descendant, Emini, Coel or midheaven at these points in your chart, pay extra attention to them. Now, they reflect on the eclipses in Cancer and Capricorn. Although this is not a total lunar eclipse, it is still a penumbral lunar eclipse. The Sun, Earth and Moon are imperfectly aligned. However, they are very much tuning into the experiences of what had happened to each one of you all in the last 2 years. In particular, the new moon and the solar eclipse of July 12th, 2018, which was at 20 degrees 50 in Cancer. Now think back to this time and the initiatives you were beginning to consider. What are the initiatives that you had planned? What are the initiatives that you had begun to consider? Just reflect back. Work with hard earth and water. The moon peaks on the Saturn's day, that is the 10th of January, with a great emphasis on the Capricorn constellation, which is governed by Saturn himself, and this is all about the earth energies and the earth element, while the watery moon in Cancer is supported by Neptune, and this spells a lot of emotions. So there are many addresses and redressals you need to take care of emotionally, and you must remember the Capricorn season, and the direct sign that is opposite is the Cancer, where this lunar eclipse is going to be taking place, and it is supported by Neptune. Therefore, it is spelling a lot of emotion. Now balance grounding activities with your feelings. A bracing winter walk with family getting together with colleagues for a back-to-back work, or even being in the festive mood with your colleagues, establishing healthy goals and boundaries at home. Remember that Cancer governs domestic settings, ancestry, food, nurturing, mothers, and comfort. Capricorn governs big business, industry, practical efforts, and establishing limits. Now, the full moon for January was called the full wolf moon because wolves were more often heard at this time in the winter season. Now, it was traditionally thought that they howled due to hunger, but there's no evidence for this. However, the wolves do tend to howl more often during the winter months and generally howl to define territory. They locate pack members and they gather for hunting. Now, if you actually just reflect back, we also scream to get love, to get attention. We also try to find out our friends, our family, or like-minded people and want to do things collectively. Now, in addition, the Native American cultures typically hold a lot of respect, not fear. Now, the respect is not out of fear. The respect is basically about need, about loving somebody. When you respect somebody, the love automatically comes. So, the Native Americans held a lot of respect without fear for wolves. So, this month's moon name should be viewed with that in your mind too. So that is, therefore it's known as the wolf moon. Now the focus of the lunar eclipse in January 2020 is all about communication because the sun is conjuncting Mercury, but it is cold, ruthless and oppressive because of the authoritarian, dictatorial influence of the Saturn and Pluto. The lunar eclipse on January 10th, 2020 is emotionally very, very challenging because the moon is so afflicted. If you are a sensitive, timid person, you need to protect yourself against aggressive people or what we call as bullies. If you are strong, you need to protect more vulnerable family members and your friends. You need to be protective about them. Now, this eclipse favors the powerful and the wealthy. What is exactly the meaning of lunar eclipse? Well, like a regular full moon, only stronger, the sun opposite moon of a lunar eclipse brings your home, family and intimate relationships into more sharper and closer focus. Opposing focuses such as work versus home or what you need versus what you want creates inner tensions and external pressures. This can lead to conflict and crisis that actually can drain your energy. The lunar qualities of emotions and instincts reach their peak at a lunar eclipse. So basically you will not be able to bear it any longer. You need to give voice to your emotions. So use your increased emotional strength and intuition to overcome any relationship challenge. That means you've got to address it, especially when the conjunction of Mercury is there. Now, subconscious awareness allows for an impartial and balanced outlook at your personal relationships. You will clearly see any relationship dynamics or negative feelings causing disharmony. A lunar eclipse represents a resetting of your emotions, clearing away the emotional baggage of the previous 6 months. So if you can clear up that emotional baggage, address your thoughts and your emotions, be more practical. You don't have to be aggressive. You are just not keeping things in your subconscious level. You bring it out consciously and you sort matters out for yourself so that the next 6 months you can devote yourself not only to your self-being, and making yourself emotionally stronger can actually increase the productive levels in your professional life because you become much more calmer, happier and confident about yourself.